Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Oh Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Shraddha Vibhaga Yoga, the 17th Adhyay. And Sri Krishna has started telling us in details about the type of austerities. Which different people, different types of people with different inherent tendencies and the different Shraddhas, how they prefer the different worships, different sacrifices, different austerities also now he's telling us. Now, first of all, before venturing out exactly into the type of sattvic, rajasic or tamasic type of austerities, Sri Krishna is telling us about the austerities as such. What are the different types of austerities? Austerity of the physical nature, the austerities of the body. That is what he told us in the 14th verse that we read last. That Devat Dvija Guru Pradnya Pujanam Shaucha Marjavam Brahmacharya Mahimsacha Shariram Tapa ucyate. That austerity is called as the austerity of the body, which is worship of gods, worship of deities, gods and goddesses, which is worship of the twice born that we discussed yesterday about the Dvija, the worship of teachers, the gurus, and the worship of the learned souls, the realized souls, the wise, who for generations together they show us the way. All the seers and rishis and saints and incarnations, worshipping these four type of the idols for that matter, or four types of people: the deities, the guru, the teacher, and the twice born and the realized souls. And how is that worship performed? That worship is performed with the intent of purity, shaucham, humility, arjavam, brahmacharyam, that is the celibacy, continence, and ahimsa, non-injury. This fourfold worship, the worship done in these with these four intents: the intent of purity, the intent of celibacy, the intent of the humility, and the intent of non-injury. With these four types of worships, when we the feelings, when we worship, when we adore the divine beings, the deities, then the twice-borns, the teachers, and the enlightened souls, that type of austerity, Sri Krishna says, is the austerity of the body. Now, we have basically what we have with us as individuals are these three kind of facilities that are available for us to do things. We have the sharir, this body. Then we also use our speech to a great extent. We use the speech to do japa, to recite hymns. We do also use our speech to give blessings, to worship, to pray. So that is the second type of tapas. That is the second type of austerity that we always keep on performing. So now what is that the austerity of the speech that Sri Krishna is telling us in the 15th Shloka? Now there are basically, let us never forget, there are three types of austerities we perform. The austerities of the body, sharirik tapas, then austerity of the speech, the vak tapas, and the austerities of the mind, the manas tapas. So sharirik we have already seen. Sri Krishna is telling us about the vak, the austerities of the speech. Anudvegakaraṃ vākyaṃ satyaṃ priyahitaṃ cha yat svādhyāyābhyasanaṃ caiva vāṅmayaṃ tapa ucyate. Vāṅmayaṃ, vākyaṃ. Vak is vacha, the speech. That austerity is called as the austerity of speech. Now what are those austerities? Anudvegakaraṃ vākyaṃ. The speech, vākyaṃ is speech, which has come from the root vach. So this vak, this speech, when it is anudvegakaraṃ, udvega is excitement. We react to someone's speech. Now what kind of reaction? When somebody talks to us, when somebody says something, we react in certain way. At times we react in very much excited manner, which can be positive, which can be negative, which can be kind of showing our anxiety. That is the udveg. Anudvegakaraṃ, that speech which does not cause any excitement to the listener, which doesn't create any kind of negative vibes in the listener's mind. That is the type of speech, anudvegakaraṃ. Satyaṃ, the truthful, abiding by the truth. Priyahitaṃ cha, priya is pleasant, and hitam cha, which is beneficial for the listener. Now this is the type of speech which is not creating any excitement, which is not which is filled with truth, which is sticking to truth. That speech, the speech which is pleasant. I love to hear some good things. I love to hear some serene things. I love to hear something positive. And hitam cha, which is also beneficial to the listener. It is not that you say something and which is of no use for the listener. That kind of speech has no value at all. Telling a third grade joke, which is not going to help the listener anyway on his spiritual path, isn't it? But telling him something about your experience of meeting some holy person, that kind of speech, that is a beneficial speech, that is a hitakara speech. Then svādhyāyābhyasanaṃ. Svādhyāya is the study of VEDAS, the study of the true self, for that matter. Svādhyāyābhyasanaṃ. One gets into the practice of this svādhyāya, having listened to that speech. That speech which kind of gives an input to the listener for the practice of self-realization, for the practice of understanding the true self. Svādhyāyābhyasanaṃ cha eva vāṅmayaṃ tapa ucyate. All these things are called as the austerities of the speech. So the austerities of the body we have seen. austerities of the body we have seen in terms of worshipping the deities, worshipping the twice born, worshipping the teacher, worshipping the enlightened souls with all the intention, with the backed up with the uprightness, purity, the humility, the celibacy, continence, and non-injury. Now, what is this austerity of the vāk? What is the austerity of the speech? That is, the speech which does not result in causing excitement to anybody. That is austerity of speech. The speech that is truthful. That is austerity of speech. You tell 10 truths and tell one lie. That one lie takes away all the positive vibes of those 10 truths. So stick to the truthfulness. That is the biggest austerity. And in fact, Sri Ramakrishna always used to say, he used to tell his disciples that truthfulness is the austerity of Kali Yuga. Stick to the truth. Never deviate from the path of truth, and you will reach the ultimate goal. So that satyaṃ. Then another way of speech, which is pleasant to hear, which is pleasing to hear, which makes one happy, which makes one joyous, which makes one blissful after hearing that particular speech. That is also an austerity of speech. And that speech which is hita, which is beneficial to the listener, that also makes that speech an austerity. So it is not that what we speak in our day-to-day life goes in vain. If we stick to these thumb rules that Sri Krishna has told, that our speech, ordinary speech in day-to-day life, it becomes an austerity of speech. Because this speech, this leads one to inculcate, to get into the mood of svādhyāyābhyasanaṃ. That into the practice of self-learning, into the practice of learning the things which lead us to the self-realization. So that kind of speech is called as the austerity of speech. That is the speech austerity. The speech which causes no excitement, which is truthful, pleasant, and beneficial, and also the practice of sacred recitation. That is the vākyaṃ, svādhyāyāṃ. Practice of recitation of the hymns, the mantra, the chanting of the mantra, and understanding the true self, svādhyāyābhyasanaṃ. That whole thing, these are said to form the austerity of speech. So Sri Krishna has told now this another facet of austerities. Bodily he has already told, he has now explained to us about the speech. The harm done through speech is often more painful than the one caused by physical violence. In the bodily austerities, he has told that the interaction between two people on the physical front, which doesn't lead to ahimsa, which doesn't lead to hinsa, that ahimsa, non-injury, is also a physical austerity. Not injuring anybody physically is also an austerity. But here, in the terms of austerity of the speech, also, anudvegakaraṃ, that not injuring anybody, not getting that other person into the excited form, that non-injury is also, it is also in fact an ahimsa. That not injuring anybody through your speech. Forget about giving physical blows. Even talking ill of somebody, even talking ill to somebody, that kind of which brings in the negative vibes. That kind of speech which puts one down. The listener, when that speech puts the listener down in terms of, oh my God, he is telling so many bad things about me. Am I that rich? The person gets injured emotionally. The person gets injured sentimentally. Even that is an injury. That is hinsa. And Sri Krishna says that austerity, that speech becomes an austerity where one does not injure anybody. Anudvegakaraṃ. Words of excitement and words that hurt people should by all means be avoided by spiritual aspirants. Truth is in some cases unpleasant to hear, and untruth is pleasant to hear. This is always the scenario in this material world. Sometimes we don't like to listen the real truth. But if someone tells some untruth about us, which even if it is a false praise, we like it, isn't it? I may not have certain positive traits with me, but somebody just falsely tells, oh, Satvik is such and such a wonderful person. I may not be a wonderful person at all. But when that kind of thing is told to some other person about me, which is in reality false, but telling good about me, I feel good about it, isn't it? So this is what the play of speech that happens in our lives. Sometimes the truth is not acceptable, but lie at times is happily acceptable. But Sri Krishna says here that the abiding to the truth is the austerity of speech. The best course is to present the truth in as pleasant way as possible. Don't tell the truth in a way that it will hurt the listener. Don't tell that truth in a language which will harm the listener's emotions, his sentiments. Put it in a kind of a nicely worded, but don't deviate from the truth. Like on this, Sri Ramakrishna used to always quote an example that don't call a lame person, don't ask him just, oh, how you have become lame. He may feel bad. But the fact is, the truth is that the person is lame. What can you do? But instead of asking that person how you have become lame, you just put it in another words. Don't deviate from the truth. You know that person is lame. That person knows he is lame. So how to twist the words? Sri Ramakrishna says, you ask him, oh, hello, what has happened to your leg? Huh? You're so nice. What has happened to your leg? So that is kind of a way of putting the truthful things hidden under the pleasant ways, not hurting anybody's feelings. So best course is to present truth in as pleasant a way as possible. But there should be no deviation from truth for the sake of pleasantness. You just don't say that. I mean, you are seeing that person, he has fractured his leg. He is not in a position to walk properly. Just don't say, oh, you are wonderful. You can walk. That is not an issue at all. Yes, he is lame. Accept the fact. That person will also accept the fact. He also knows he is lame. But how to put it across to the person? The language that is used. That is more important. And that is where, by not deviating from the truth, but sending the message, that Sri Krishna says is also an austerity of speech. Flattery is often in tune with truthfulness and very pleasant to hear. May a sadhaka employ it in his dealings with people? No, flattery. Flattery is again a kind of the praising a person in a wrongful manner. I mean, a wrongful thing to be praised with good words. That flattery, that chaplacy, that the boot-licking kind of attitude. No. Sri Krishna says that doesn't have any standing in the austerity of speeches. Whatever you say, it has to be beneficial to the person, and it should stick to the truthfulness. Simply flattering somebody, oh, you are such a wonderful person, and that person is no wonderful at all. So that no flattery has to be scrupulously, to be followed under any circumstances. Flattery should be totally avoided by the spiritual aspirants. Harsh words have not done so much harm to society as undue compliments have done. Unnecessarily pointing out a person who doesn't have any merit to be such a meritorious person. That creates more harm than actually hitting somebody on the face. Even great men have fallen victims to flattery and gone off moorings. So, the words that we utter, we have to be very careful, we have to be very cautious that it doesn't give any kind of wrong hint. It doesn't give any kind of wrong meaning. The words that we utter, they don't carry unnecessary hype for anybody. The Vedas are the oldest books known to humanity, and they are held the most sacred because of their dealings with matters spiritual. Chanting them daily with proper intonation is not only a perfect vocal training, but it is also a sanctifying agency to the student. And the speech that is based upon the Vedic intonations, the devotional reading, devotional chanting, that kind of speech definitely gets into the category of the austerity of speech. So Sri Krishna has beautifully explained in this particular shloka how we can do tapas of the tapas of the speech, the austerity of the speech, by following these injunctions that Sri Krishna has laid down in the 15th shloka of the Shraddha Vibhaga Yoga, the 17th adhyaya. Now, all the 4 phases of training of the tongue, that is how we should aim at training the tongue. What to say, what not to say, how to say. This is what Sri Krishna has taught us in this 15th shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Mam. Jai Swamiji.